heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. Now, in the last part, quite a number of things were happening. We had Deku. Deku was spending a lot more time with his children, and he was also doing a few things. Now, Deku, he crashed a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier after S.H.I.E.L.D. sent Hawkeye to try to find him. And Hawkeye, he found him. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D., they didn't expect this. Deku, he really did live up to his promise. And right now, S.H.I.E.L.D., they need to make a bit of a decision. They have a few more helicarriers up and in the air. And right now, they're concerned. If they go after Deku again, will he take out another helicarrier? Or is he currently on his way or in the process of planning to destroy another one? Now, Deku, he also talked to not only Jean, he decided to talk to his old friend Kurt, and tell him a few simple little things. He got his sister pregnant, and Kurt was alarmed. Kurt has barely found out recently, after everything going on with the extinction of mutants, him and Rogue were related. And right now Deku, a guy he's known for almost 17 years, basically just told him, hey, me and your sister are about to have a kid, and we decided not to tell you for a while. Now, obviously Kirk knows it's been some time since Rogue's been back to the mansion. However, he was starting to get a bit concerned. He didn't know where she was, and apparently now he knows why she's been gone for so long. Now, Deku, he currently is in New York, and right now he has Godoki bring his hand up onto somebody's shoulder, them turning their head as Deku, he does sit down next to them. Hey man, how you doing? Kurt staring directly at Deku. Doing fine. Then again, people still do stare at me from time to time. Your skin is blue. It's to be expected. You're right about that. Then again, I still want to go out. Have some simple food. And do what I can. I get it, Kurt. But we really shouldn't have this conversation here. I understand. But you're different. Yeah. I'm doing good. Really good. So, it is true then. Yes. It's all true. I see. Well, now, somebody has come walking up, and right now the dude Dorky gonna turn and splash their drink Dorky on Kurt. And Kurt does Dorky turn as Deku does not turn as well. The person saying a few things to Kurt that are very, very impolite. Now, they basically call Kurt a monster and a freak, and how he really shouldn't even fucking be in here. And Deku does Godoki turn to look at this person. Them talking about how he shouldn't be associating with a mutant like them. And Deku is simply just going to bring up his hand. The man being sent flying backwards and smashing through a window. As Deku does Godoki look around, and everybody there is staring at him, shouting that he's a mutant too. And Deku hears Godoki look around and tell everybody, as Godoki bring his hands up and shatter every window in the entire building. Now, everybody there are afraid, and some do go running off, and others, they are immediately on the defensive. Now, some of these people are here, they carry weapons, and right now some, they do go to pull out pipes, or even just simple bats. Some are carrying knives. And Deku, he does go somewhat watches a few people do go to crowd around them. And Kurt does go somewhat bring up his hand, telling Deku that they need to really get out of here. Hang on a second, Kurt. Alrighty, let's see. Deku's spinning on the stool. 8 different men. And let's see. 2 mutants. Now, all of you two, all of you, against 2 of us. How do you expect this to... Somebody directly charging Deku. And Deku is simply just going to bring his hand up and light the weapon they had on fire. The person burning their hands as they do going to throw the weapon down to the ground and going to stare down at their hands before trying to somewhat put out the flames on their pants. And Deku does tell them again, as it's going to send them blasting backwards through a window that was broken, not to interrupt him. Now, the men do stare at Deku, calling him a fucking monster. You say that. Listen, me and my friend here, we came here to talk, and all of you are pissing me off. Now, all of you are very simple and very stupid. What are you talking about? We outnumber you. Again, very simple and very stupid. Listen, the other day I pulled a helicarrier out of the air, and I can light things on fire with not only my mind, I can also freeze them. So, to anybody who wants to become an ice cube, charge me next. And to anybody who wants to lie in a hospital bed for probably the rest of their life, go ahead and charge me. Or if anyone wants to die, go ahead, charge me as well. I can lobotomize you or freeze you. Or leave you brain dead. So, which is it, everybody? Now, the men they all do stand there, and Deku is going to bring up his hand and light it on fire, before bringing up his other hand and going to start producing ice. Now, the men, they do just want to look at Deku, and Deku, he does actually watch as they all do to run away. Now, Kurt does stare at Deku. Deku going to turn off his powers, as he has to stand up and tell Kurt, they really should go. Kurt bringing his hand directly onto Deku's shoulder as the two do teleport away, as the police they did arrive. Now, the Avengers, they obviously do catch wind of this. A man was spotted with a mutant, and he apparently had powers as well. Now, there was the powers in question. And yeah, right now after getting some video evidence, it is very clear that Deku has arrived back in New York. And that is another concern of theirs. Now, Deku and Kurt, they would teleport back to the mansion. And their actions are the two, well, they are sitting down outside. So, you almost killed those 2 guys. I should have. I mean, they were assholes. Besides, what about you? I'm fine. It was water. At least I hope it's water. At least it wasn't coffee. There is that. They were nice enough to not pour coffee on me. If you call that nice, Kurt, then I want to know what you consider to be mean. Mean? Let's see. How about not letting me know that you hooked up with my sister, even after I thought you two ended your relationship? Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Listen, Ro didn't see any reason to tell you. I mean, it was my idea to keep it from you, okay? It was yours. Kurt, Rogue, she isn't the mother of my first child. There's more? Yeah, Jean, Laura, Katsuki. Apparently well, been around. Yes, certainly you have. Were they from, yeah, Doom a couple years back? Apparently I fixed reality and everything almost changed back to the way it was. Except for a few things that I did do. You mean them? Kurt, that's a bit... It's right, but it's not, I guess. And you killed your father. Yeah, I also properly buried my grandfather and went to go visit my mother's grave. I've been through a lot. Listen, Kurt, I just. I finally figured things out in my head. I'm not gonna let people just try and use me and Hulk. You and Hulk. Yes, all of us, in fact. I'm I've learned to cope with these personalities in my head. I mean, we still do bicker back and forth from time to time, but it's mainly about who gets control, what's going to be happening, and a lot of other stuff. Hulk gets his isolation, and I get what I want. We worked out a deal. Hmm. So he doesn't disappear then? What do you mean? Well, Izuku, you're my friend, and I have looked into your condition. I thought that whenever you heal from trauma, they would disappear. The other personalities, I mean. I presumed that's how it worked. Kurt, I've lived with this my whole life, and even I don't know how it works. I've gotten control of my anger, though, so that's a thing. Now, Deku and Kurt would continue to talk. And Kurt, yeah, he wasn't mad at his friend. He was a bit annoyed that he wasn't told sooner, but after Deku just continued to talk about it and explain the last year and a half, the man started to understand. Letting anybody know about these secrets is dangerous. And the fact that Deku even decided to tell him before the kid was born, that does show trust. Now, Kurt, he is annoyed, ultimately though, and trying to process it. Deku is his friend, but Rogue is family. The two, they may have bickered back and forth a lot, even whenever they didn't realize they were related, but they always did want to look out for each other. They were friends in that regard. And apparently, they are family for real. Now, Deku, he actually does talk to Kurt more. Until eventually, guess who does show up to crash the party? Iron Man. Now, the Avengers do show up. And right now, after they do come to walk off of their jet, there is actually Deku. Deku does stare directly over to Tony, who is in that advanced model suit, the one he took for a joyride. Now, there is Cap, and there's Black Widow, Clint Barton, Thor, who has his new, well, axe, and there also is the Sentry. Now, these people, they all just stand there. And right now, Deku, he does stare at the Avengers. Now, their actions are Captain Skadriki walk up and try to ask Deku to stand down and to come in for questioning. And Deku does tell Cap, no. Now, the Avengers, they do try to talk to Deku. And right now, Deku, he tells them very plainly, leave him the fuck alone. And not to concern themselves with what he did. Now, Deku does look jerky at Clint. And Clint, he does jerky go to hold up his hands, and with one robotic finger, flip him off. Now, Deku's just jerky at the man, before informing him he shouldn't have tried to shoot him in the head. Now, Cap directly does get a turn, staring directly at Clint. What did you try to do? Cap, I wasn't trying to hit him. I was trying to send a message. Really? So I stopped an arrow directly in front of my... Let's see, where would it have hit me? Right here. Directly in my head. That would have taken me out pretty well. Let's see. It would have hit the part of my brain responsible for emotional control. And if I do remember correctly, I theorized to S.H.I.E.L.D. that is a way to kill the Hulk. So, S.H.I.E.L.D. wants me dead. In fact, I do still have the arrow at my house. Your home? Yes, Mr. Rogers, my home. Listen, I'm not coming in for questioning, and I'm not going to comply with anything any of you want from me. The event that happened earlier was because an asshole and a group of anti-mutant people. So that's not our fault. Sure, two of them might have ended up in the hospital, but that's the least of their concerns. Now, Tony Stark is going to directly step forwards, telling Deku to stop and to just come in and talk. Clearly, Claw has control of his mind, and he isn't acting properly. He killed Emma Frost. Now, Kurt directly does go look at Deku, and Deku does look at him before he does just simply say, "She did a lot, and even the Inhumans would agree with his actions. What she did was manipulate people on both sides, and they wouldn't understand how to pass judgment on her for how many people died." Now, right now, Cap, he doesn't disagree. Black Bolt wanted to murder Emma Frost, but he stopped it. He told the man very plainly that he can't do that, and the best thing to do would just simply throw her in a cell and let her rot. And while that isn't a good form of justice for somebody as crazy as her, right now it's what they can do. At least before they do find a way to properly rehabilitate her. Since clearly she's been messed up in the head. Now, Deku, he does stand there. And right now there actually is where Robert Reynolds does directly a step forwards. Him radiating that calming energy and talking to Deku. Expressing to him that he clearly needs to just stay calm. Deku turning to him, and without even augmenting his voice or saying anything, he does tell Robert he's perfectly fine. And everybody are staring at Deku. He's not acting irrational. Now, they're very confused, and they're actually Black Widow. She does somewhat go to voice everything. She's been paying attention to every single thing about Deku. His fingers, the slightest little bit of movement, the twitch in his eyes, the way his face is moving, all of it. She's trying to pull out every interrogation tactic she can, trying to read Deku's expression and emotions. And right now, Deku, he really is calm. He's not angry, he's not surprised they showed up. He expected them. But why did he expect them? If he knows that they plan to come here after the diner incident, then why isn't he hulking out? Why isn't he angry? He really doesn't plan to come with them, does he? Now, Widow would go to voice this, expressing how he very clearly is thinking that he's in control of the situation, but he isn't. Robert right here can handle him. And Deku just directly go towards the man. Him tapping into Robert's mind and playing a bit on his fear. As I know Robert, he does stare directly at Deku. He has that confidence in his eyes. The moment Deku, he does go directly stare at him, his eyes do flash, and Robert, he sees the void. Now, Robert immediately does something to back away. And right now he is going to bring his hands up to his head, somewhat panicking before turning and flying away. And Deku does go to directly get a stare back towards the Avengers. And there actually is Thor. Thor does express to Izuku, bringing his axe up over his shoulder, how he really must stand down. And right now if he is to do battle, he wants to see the beast. And Deku does correct him. He wants to see Hulk. Or is he talking about Claw? Claw is a beast in his own right, but Hulk, he isn't a monster. Now, they are all kind of confused. And Deku, he does tell them all. Him bringing his hands up, as he does immediately go to freeze Tony Stark in place in his Iron Man suit. And right now, there is the fact that Tony, he does take a second to try and activate the flaps that would solve the icing problem. Now, there actually is Black Widow. She's frozen directly up to her waist, and her arms, they're covered in ice on her wrist gauntlets. And Deku does freeze Cap mostly in place. Before Hawkeye, he's frozen as well. And right now Thor, he actually is held there in place with telekinesis. and Deku does directly gonna step forwards. Directly up to Cap, as Deku does tell the man. Again, he's not coming with him. He could try to scare him away, make him see horrors beyond comprehension, or he can simply just turn off his brain. However, he's letting him go with a simple little offer. Walk away. Leave him alone. He doesn't want them here. Now, there actually is a few people who are watching the commotion. And right now, Jean is come walking out and seeing the situation, as so do many other mutants. Now, right now, Deku is going to turn and walk back over to Jean. Him bring her up into a hug, as is going to grab her. And right now, after she does give Deku a kiss, she's trying to ask him what happened. We had a few unwanted visitors. Him turning, expressing how they were just leaving. Now, Captain America, after he is able to break free, and so is Tony, they do try to defrost everybody else. And Deku, he did let Thor go. Now, it's very clear to all of them, as Deku does stand there with the mutants, that they can't win. However, there actually is another problem. Right now, somebody, they do come flying down, along with another person. And right now the attention is turned to them. As Deku, he does directly stand there and look. As a man does look directly at Deku, he does see him. He's old, grizzly, and he's with a redhead? Now, the man is directly going to walk up to Deku. And right now Deku does stand there as he's directly going to bring his hand up. Nice to see you again, Izuku. Hi. Deku bring his hand out. The man shaking it, asking exactly if things have been good. Who are you? Fuck. We're in the wrong timeline. Are we? Does it really matter, though? I guess not. Listen, whatever's happened here, clearly... Okay, hang on. Let me just... Okay. Now, Cable does Doki get a turn to Jean Grey and try to ask her, how is she still alive? What are you talking about? It's strange to see you, Mom. Now, Deku Doki does stare at Cable. Mom? Wait, this can't be John, can it? Jean directly does go to stare at Deku. As Deku, he does stare back at her. And right now the Avengers, they're confused. As Jean does look directly at Hope Summers. And right now Hope is going to bring her hand up and expressing who she is. And right now Cable, he does try to at least explain the situation. Now, Cable, yeah. Right now he tries to explain what's going on and what's happening, and how they came back from the future. And Deku, he's confused as to what he even means. And Cable, he does try to at least ask Deku about his powers. And Deku, he tries to explain. Now, Tony does actually step up, expressing to Izuku that he's not in his right mind. The Hulk is controlling his actions. And Cable does jerky stare at Iron Man before looking back at Deku. Wait. Hulk? Yeah. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to play catch up here. Who are you? Shit. I'm in another timeline, aren't I? God damn it. Okay, yeah, that didn't explain anything. Who the hell are you? Long story short, I'm from another future. I guess, an alternate future, I guess. Since this isn't even the proper timeline I was from. Or a variant of it. Where's Cyclops? Why do you want to... Why? Because I need to talk to him. I mean, I can explain everything, but... Listen, listen, it's all complicated. I'm your and Scott's kid from the future. I'm from an alternate reality. I'm guessing you have Back to the Future in this timeline? Yeah? Good, that explains everything. It's basically that. Um, okay. Now, Deku is gonna reach out. And right now, Cable, he does feel this. As Cable does decide to try and show everybody what he does understand and remember. And right now, Deku, he's surprised. The events he does see, the interaction Cable had with him, this took place in another timeline. Wait, Hope Summers. She was the first mutant born after M Day? Now, the Avengers are confused as Cable does get a turn. And right now he does at least reach out to Jean and Deku and express about what the plan is right now. And the Avengers, they are told with a combined might of Jean, Cable, and Deku to simply leave and forget why Deku was here, or that Deku was even in New York. Now, the Avengers do leave. And right now Cable, he does go inside and at least start explaining a lot about what has happened. And Jean, she still is very confused. The, well, backlash she got, this intense emotion, this surge of power, it must have been them, right? I mean, but still, everybody's somewhat trying to crowd around and talk. The first mutant born after M Day. But what is M Day? Now, Cable, he does sit down Deku and Jean and explain it to both of these two. Since Charles Xavier is apparently dead here, and so is his father, and so is Beast. Yeah, maybe Beast would be the best guy here to explain a few things. Now, Deku, he is still thinking about everything he has seen. This alternate version of himself. In another life, he was still a mutant. I mean, the powers he seemed to have, the power to fly, these abilities, ungodly strength, and some sort of mutation form. I mean, it's impressive. Now, Deku, he is curious. Is that what his other type of power could have been in another life? Huh. Now, Cable, he is trying to explain why they're here. And right now, Deku, he does hear Cable talk about how they were trying to bring Hope Summers back to the proper timeline, the one that they took her from. And Deku, right now, he does hear that. As Cable, he does ask if anything strange has been happening. And Jean does express about what happened the other day. Now, Cable, he does try to explain. That's not very good. What do you mean? Check Cerebro again. And if you can't find it, then 202. The number? 202. That's not good. Is it not? No. It should have been 198. It was there in my timeline, the same way. I mean, a lot of people, they were confused. And Apocalypse. Who? It's a lot to explain. Listen. Now, Cable, he does explain everything. M Day happened in his timeline. It happened in the timeline Hope Summers is from, and it seems to have happened here. This is all because of the Scarlet Witch, and her particular powers. Now, Deku is kind of confused. Wanda Maximoff did this? Now, Cable, he explains. All he does really understand from the events is sometime in the past, Scarlet Witch went insane. And she uttered three simple words. No more mutants. And somehow she affected other timelines. And it's not really known where it does end and where it really did begin. Or it really did begin. Now, Deku, he is shocked by that. He knew that reality warping was a power. He knows that very well from Mr. M. But what Wanda did, she affected multiple realities. This is insane. I mean, okay, so Cable's future and then their current timeline and this other timeline which is apparently rapidly different. All three of these timelines have been affected by one event. The event didn't seem to happen here, and that's what they're confused by. They need to somewhat reach out to Wanda Maximoff, see if everything's going okay with her. And from what Deku doesn't understand, Cable, he's seen much in his time of being alive. And this man, the person in front of them, he's Jean and, well, Scott's son from a timeline where they were still together. It's not, it's weird, definitely weird, but it's not out of the possibility for multiverse theory, right? He just has to keep that in mind. Now, Deku, he is concerned though. And right now, there actually is where him and Forge, they do start to go through the process of fixing Cerebro. Now, Forge is already working on it quite a bit. Some of the circuitry was damaged, and a few of the wires were fried. However, after about another hour of working on it, Forge, he, and Deku are both able to make it operational. At least for the current moment. While it may not be at 100%, right now, Deku, he does get to sit down in the chair. And he is curious. As right now, he actually has have Jean put her hand on his shoulder and inform him about what to do. Tell him exactly what to do and what is going to happen. Now, Deku, he does go to close his eyes and focus. And right now, he can hear them. The minds of everybody else. The minds of the other mutants. Now, Deku, he does try to zero in on Hope Summers. And right now, he does find her mind right here in the Xavier Mansion. However, he does try to reach out further and find the other mind. Now, Deku, he does actually find it. And right now, he is concerned. As everything around it, it feels chaotic. It doesn't feel right. And Deku is somewhat going to jump up and immediately going to turn, expressing how she's in danger. Now, the X-Men, they do get ready. And right now we actually have Deku. Deku, he directly bolted outside and directly turned into the Hulk. The Hulk leaping directly from the ground at a high speed. And right now they do watch that. And Cable, he's a bit surprised. Okay, well, that is gonna need to take some getting used to. Now, Deku, him, and Hulk, they are trying to make a plan. Right now, Hope Summers is in danger. The Hope Summers of this timeline. And that is a bit tricky. But then again, the first mutant born after M Day, if Hope Summers exists in that timeline, and she exists in this one, there are multiple Hope Summers. So, mutants aren't gone. They'll be born again. No, wait. That isn't right. Emma Frost. No, not Emma Frost. Scarlet Witch. If her powers are to do with this, they have something to do with this. Reality warping. A few will slip by. Yes, mutants, they will start to grow again. Their numbers will rise. But it won't be fast. It won't be as fast as it was. I mean, in less than 70 years, the population exploded rapidly. And right now, I mean, people who have actual powerful abilities, they might not even have their powers awaken. they have a dormant X gene, and that gene will stay dormant. Now, right now, a lot currently does happen. And right now, the Avengers, they are somewhat alerted to this. They saw and heard reports of the Hulk being spotted flying through the air over multiple cities and towns. And right now, it's confusing to them, as there actually is Rogue. Rogue currently is sitting down, and she is watching TV, as the news is talking about how the Hulk has been spotted leaping across multiple states. And right now, it does somewhat concern her. She does think to someone reach out and call. However, Shuri, she does at least explain how Deku went to talk to Nightcrawler. And right now, he shouldn't be doing this, unless something very big has happened. Now, Rogue, she actually does try to wait. Maybe Deku will fill her in, let her know what he's doing. I mean, she's sitting on the sidelines, but why does she care? No, this. She has a steady life. She isn't afraid of her powers anymore. They are under control. And right now, she's going to have a normal life. She's wanted one for years, but these ideas in her head, they're conflicting. Now, there actually is where Deku, he does eventually arrive in the town where where Hope Summers is. And right now the process, it is quite easy. Right now Deku, he does try to stop the Purifiers from killing the child. And the Purifiers, yeah, they got wind of the child's existence. And whenever the Hulk does arrive, he tears the Purifiers apart. Now, there actually is after Deku, he lit many of them on fire, froze many of them, and some they were just ripped apart with pure telekinesis, and others with the Hulk's bare hands. Now, Deku, he does walk into a room, and right now there actually is a woman standing there, asking him exactly if he's going to hurt her. And Deku is looking to bend down. Him somewhat carefully telling her he's not going to do her any harm. And she does just stare at Deku, who he doesn't seem convincing. His hands have blood on them, and the explosions and everything, the gunfire, all that, the screams, they all stopped after the ground shook. And the man here, his eyes, they're glowing green. Stay away from me. Don't hurt me, please. Do you want her? The freak. Now, Deku just holds his hands out carefully, grabbing Doki onto Hope Summers before telling the woman she isn't a freak. Him going to somewhat comfort the crying child. She's a mutant. Now, the woman does Doki to somewhat try and get past Deku and run. As Deku, he does turn. The woman is scared. She's not a purifier. She isn't an issue. But all this death, all this mayhem, all of it, all because of a baby. I mean, mutants are being born again. If this is the public's response, if this is people's response to one mutant being born, then what are they going to do when more starts? And right now, Deku, he does feel the rage boil in his body. As he's looking to walk out, and by the time the team does arrive, Deku, he does walk out of the building with the baby. And right now, a lot of people, they're surprised. Now, Deku does get aboard the jet. And right now, Hope, she is taken back to the mansion. However, right now, somebody they currently do stand there on the lawn to the mansion. And they are waiting. They felt a very, very powerful presence here. They felt the minds gather. And they want to meet these people. They want to meet the mutants responsible for this intense pressure. It was impressive. But right now, they also want to talk to them. What has happened to their species? Their species is nothing more than a wounded animal that has been cornered. And people, they are throwing rocks at that animal. But that animal, it is debating whether or not to attack. If it lashes out, it could be killed. But if it stays there, it's going to be pushed further and further back, up until the very moment that it is stomped out. And right now, Apocalypse, he does stand there, waiting for the X-Men to arrive back here at the mansion. He wants to discuss many things. He wants to discuss the current matter, the state of their species, and how their existence, it is very much on the brink of extinction. And their non-existence is a very real possibility, especially from the things that he has seen in this century and era. Mutants, from what he does understand, they were in mass. They had a home. He could feel them. He could feel their minds. And he felt them die. He felt millions die. Now, this is annoying for Apocalypse. How can his species really be like that? How can they be stomped out in an instant? Clearly the weapons of man, they have gone too far. And right now, there is something else currently far over the horizon. As the Phoenix Force, it was waiting. It was confused by everything. The experiences of Jean Grey and the emotions she had: love, rage, sorrow, fear, everything. Jean Grey's emotions, they were the strangest thing it ever encountered. This is a being made of whole energy. It has nothing to desire, nothing to want, no need for these things. But Jean Grey, being a creature that has such needs, it has piqued its interest. And right now there is a being very similar to Jean on Earth. Jean and her both exist. They need to understand. And right now it will take one of these two. Jean Grey will either be the vessel for the Phoenix, or it will be Hope Summers. And right now, the Phoenix, it is making its way towards Earth and barreling at it at high speeds. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.